Welcome, everybody, to Bits and the Bites. Glad you could make it on this early edition. Cheers. Thank you, everybody in the chats. There we go. Good to see everyone's fired up out there. Welcome to Arizona. Hey!
_Vaughn just subscribed.
That's what I'm talking about. Subscriptions, baby. Keep them coming. Look at this great flag over here. What is this thing? We got a star. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that flag. We haven't really deep dived into any of the flags of the states, but we got it here. That's what matters. Let's get out the trusty book. Let's pull up the facts. Pull up the facts first. Everyone likes the facts. Arizona, the Grand Canyon State. The Grand Canyon State. In 1912, they joined our great union as the 48th state. The hell took so long? I feel like some of the states over there probably got on the train a little bit quicker. 48th state. Wow, they're really late to the party. Okay. Population as of July 2015, we're talking almost 7 mil. Phoenix, Arizona is the capital. Biggest city is Phoenix. Abbreviation, the Big AZ. State bird, the cactus wren. Always a dumb-looking bird. The birds always look dumb. There's no cool-looking state birds that we found yet. This bird looks dumb, like most birds do. It's not its fault, though. And what else? The state flower, the saguaro, is the saguaro cactus blossom. So the saguaro, Tom Segura, the saguaro. I'm not good at pronunciation. It's very good for broadcasting. This is what it looks like, though. You know, this thing, the Hey Dude cactus, the iconic, the cactus of your dreams, if you will. And there it is. That's the cactus. Thanks for the cactus, Arizona. And the cactus is a big linchpin of what we're going to talk about. So let's look at Arizona. Let's see where it's surrounded by. Actually, while we're here. So Arizona. Let me see my book here. Yeah. So what I could find in Arizona, I'm going to look at my notes now. I called it the model state. It looks very beautiful, yet vapid and empty. I'm not seeing much going on out in Arizona. We have some guests coming on later. We're going to talk about that, hopefully, with them. I'm sure, I mean, there's some stuff going on. I can only research so much here. The team over there, cheers to the team. They can only research so much. Yes, good job, team. They can only research so much on the state. And, you know, there's not a lot of things going on out there, but hopefully our guests today could tell us a little bit more. I'm not seeing much in the way of like buildings and developments going on like I see in some other states. I can find some areas where things are going down. It's kind of hard to find what's going on out there. They got the Grand Canyon, of course, but that's, again, I think they're really more about the desert, the natural beauty, and the lizards taking donkey rides into the Grand Canyon and coming out. I think that's their vibe. That and salt mines. So let's see, what do we got around them? So, you know, when they say, like, go west, you know, when our settlers came here and landed on the shores of the East Coast and then started cruising through, Arizona is the area where, like, the people who didn't want to make it to California settled. It's almost like, this is my opinion now, it's like the guys who gave up, like, right at the last, you know, they couldn't go the extra inch to get to those gold mines in California, so they settled in Arizona. I could be wrong. Nevada's also probably the same situation. Arizona, flanked to the north by Utah, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Mexico to the south, and San Diego not too far away. Quick trip out. Now, I don't know much about Arizona as a whole. We got Phoenix here in the middle, Tucson down there I've heard of, and then you got a lot of reservation areas, the Grand Canyon's up here. One thing I did notice looking at this map is they got no rivers, they got no lakes, they got no like, I couldn't see any farms, kind of like livestock kind of farms. I'm sure they're growing shit out there, don't get me wrong, but we do know that they're growing grapes. We have some great guests to talk about wine today, Arizona wine, because that's a big thing out there, and I think that's really interesting because in a land where there's nothing going on, it's a lot of desert. It should be interesting to talk about some Arizona grape juice with some wine experts. Salt mines are a big thing out there, apparently. But yeah, no water. Isn't it strange to live in a state, being from New Jersey? where, you know, growing up by water your whole life and, you know, being out in a state where there's nothing but Indian reservations and a big hole in the ground you call the Grand Canyon that you ride donkeys into. Strange. No oceans, no lakes, no rivers. It must make for a different people, a dry kind of people, if you will. What do I know? So that's it. The 48th state, I thought that was very strange that they joined so late. I don't know much about it. Yes, foods. That's right. Here's some stuff about fry bread. Fry bread's a big thing. It's an Indian, like, Navajo bit. And then I saw, as I was reading it, so a fry bread is kind of like, what's a fry bread? How can I explain this? It's bread that's fried. It's dough that's fried. You can get it anywhere. I was like, oh, is this an Arizona thing? It's really not. You can get it anywhere. It's like a Native American thing for sure, but it's a standard dough that you would get that you would fry up and you eat with a bunch of delicious shit. It's really nothing mind-blowing. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing I want to attribute straight to Arizona. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this Sonoran-style hot dog, is definitely a thing. And I believe this is like, it might originate in Mexico, but it's uniquely Arizonian, I do believe. It's essentially a hot dog that I think they're serving on fry bread or some kind of large hot dog roll that looks not great. And then the hot dog is wrapped in bacon, and then they load it up with a bunch of shit, almost like it's like a fat sandwich, you know, from New Jersey, which I'm sure every college town now has their own version of, but not ideal. Doesn't look good. That's why we didn't bring him in, not why I wanted to eat it. This doesn't look at these pictures. I mean, does this look good to you? This is something I want to talk to the people about. Sonoran hot dog with mayo on top. Yeah, cool, dude. Sonoran hot dog with pinto beans, tomatoes, green salsa, jalapeno, mustard, and mayonnaise, and with avocado and cotija cheese on top. I don't know, dude. I don't know what you're doing out there with your hot dogs, Arizona. I may be biased with my New York-style dogs I'm a fan of, but we're going to talk to a little bit of the Arizona natives. We have Eat Drink Arizona joining the show later. Melissa from there, she's an expert on all things Arizona restaurant related, so hopefully she's going to talk to us and she could tell us a little bit about Sonoran hot dogs and actually maybe some other foods that's going on out there. And then we actually have not one but two wine experts talking about Arizona wine. Because in Arizona, where is it? Arizona, we got some items. We brought in some items like we do in the show, bits and bites. What is this crap we have in our box today? Prickly pear, what appears to be Twizzlers, Cactus Candy, and a bottle of wine. Well, I mean, it's early here, but we should probably dig into the wine. Let's be fair, let's open it. Let's air it out a little bit. We're going to open the wine, we're going to smell it, and then we'll get into the candy. And I want to tell you an interesting story about the candy that I just found earlier today. Literally, I was doing a little research this morning, and it'll vibe really well with it, and I think it'll wrap right into the winemaking. So apparently the Cactus Candy thing is a big thing in Arizona, and we'll talk about it. Let's pop this wine for a second. So when I said I was going to do these shows in every state, I was like, cool. And then like a week later, I was like, fuck, this is a lot of work, and I don't... How the hell are we going to find stuff for every stupid state? Now we're in Arizona. Years, months, years, had to be years ago at this point. Of course it was years ago. I went to a dinner at the James Beard House. That was a collaboration dinner with Maynard James Keenan of Tool fame. He was there. He was present. Super cool guy. I got to meet and talk with him. But he was not there to talk about his great musical prowess. He was there to talk about his vineyards out in Arizona, because he's a huge proponent of Arizona grapes. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, Arizona grapes? Okay, cool. Because in New Jersey, we got grapes. Jersey wine ain't nothing to write home about. Spoiler alert, when we do New Jersey, we will not be drinking New Jersey wine. Okay? Put that in your book. Anyway, so there I am, hanging out with Maynard, talking wine, and he was telling me all about how these Italian, this is my experience, again, we're going to talk to some wine experts later from Arizona, and they could enlighten me and tell me if I'm right, wrong, or indifferent, that these Italian varietals I believe is what he was focusing on at the time, and they grow extremely well due to the climate out in Arizona. Apparently, it mimics very much a lot of, I believe he was saying southern or central Italy years ago. I don't really remember. Plus, I might have had one or two grape soda pops, if you know what I'm talking about. But this, my friends, is Merkin Vineyards Chupacabra 2018 Arizona Red Table Wine from Wilcox, Arizona, clocking in at 13.5% ABV. We could read the back here. The trickster, the shapeshifter, the ever-elusive shadow who mutates with the sun and moon. 65% Syrah, 20% Mourvedre, 15% Grenache. Buell Memorial Vineyard, 4,300-foot elevation. Hand-picked, sorted, and punched. Open top and submerged cap fermentation. Barrique aged for 11 months, new and neutral oak. So, let's get in there. Let's pop it. And let's see, I got my, I have my official golden wine key from one of the greatest restaurants around here. Shout out to Nettie's. Nettie's restaurant at Vault. Some of the best, doing the best. So we're going to pop this Merkin. We're going to get it on the nose, and then we're going to get it in the candy. Pop, pop, baby. Smell that cork. Ooh, that smells delightful. So anyway, so I'm at this dinner, and it was a I forget who the chef was, of course. It was someone notable, but I can't remember because that's not what the show's about. I remember that it was Maynard for sure was there, walking around. And I got to chat with him about his wines, and that's when he kind of opened my eyes to the interesting concept of Arizona grapes. And as I looked into it, they're actually doing, there's over like 100 vineyards in Arizona now. They're doing over like 50 varietals, and there's lots of vineyard action going on out there. And the wines I had that night were spectacular. And it's hard to find, at least where I'm in New Jersey, Arizona wines. They don't bring them in. And I'm excited to talk to our experts a little bit more about it, find out some of the good producers and names out there, and hopefully get some bottles shipped out here. This smells fantastic. I don't want to turn this into like just a wine-focused show. We could definitely do that. But this smells fantastic. It has like really bright notes of like Coke, like soda. But like bright, like fizzy almost. That is juicy and delicious. Oh shit, that's really good. Big fan of that. Vedra, none of those are Italian varietals like I was talking about, but you know, Spanish varietals too. Great. Anyway, we're gonna get in the wine later with people who know the wine. I don't want to run my mouth about the wine. The other things we got here is prickly pear candy and cactus candy. Now, when I'm looking for food for these shows, I'm not looking for, like I just talked about, the Sonoran hot dog. That's cool and all. Sure, I could set up the cameras in the kitchen and we could cook up some Sonoran hot dogs and then watch someone eat a bacon-wrapped hot dog covered in pinto beans and bad salsa and a bad fried bread. That's not what we're doing here. I'm looking for shit that's produced in the state, that's relative to the state, and kind of has a vibe of the state. Now, this candy craze almost wiped out the entire cactus population in Arizona, apparently. Now, I'm going to read through this story a little bit. Because, again, I found this article this morning. I wish I had more information about it earlier. But it wraps right to it. So let's just talk about this first for a second. This is Cactus Candy. I believe this one. So I believe this Cactus Candy, prickly pear cactus in the box, is the OG original, as far as I can tell. Like, that's the OG. That's the OG real deal Cactus Candy in the box. I believe it's a little square. I haven't opened it yet. But they also sold this, which looks like Twizzlers. So I'm going to pop one of these first and get into my Arizona mindset by having a prickly pear Twizzler. Is this something that they eat out in Arizona? This is a question for our guests. I'm going to go ahead and guess no. This seems like a novelty bullshit item. Look, sometimes you get got. When you're doing your research, like I said, I'm trying to find foods iconic in the States, okay? And ideally that are made in the state. Believe it or not, That's harder than it sounds. Ooh, they smell like Twizzlers. The amazing Southwest flavor of prickly pear, cactus, and a candy twist. CactusCandy.com. Bring that shit up. Well, it smells like a Twizzler. Oh, here we are. Yeah, so this is the website. It looks like a Twizzler. Let's eat one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it tastes like a bad Twizzler. Okay. What's the ingredients on this here? Enriched wheat flour, corn syrup, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, water, garbage, apple juice concentrate, artificial prickly pear flavor. Not even real? Fuck, I hope the one in the box is real. I expected this to be kind of crappy. I was right. All right, so this is all fake bullshit. It's essentially a knockoff Twizzler. Let's be fair. Let's call this what it is. It's a knockoff Twizzler that tastes like prickly pear. Not the best. Not gonna recommend this. Cactus Candy. What a dumb... This is dumb. This is some gimmicky bullshit. I'm not afraid to say it. This is some gimmicky-ass bullshit that you would buy at a road stop. It's like a little tart, a little sweet. It's like a Twizzler. It's not great. It's the first thing I'm eating today, and it's really not making me happy. I have coffee in my mouth. I have wine in my mouth. Not really prepped for the early show, you know what I mean? Usually we do the show later. But it's okay. We accommodate our guests. Very excited to talk to them. We got all three of them at the same time today. Nice little round table. Very excited. All right, so the Cactus Candy Prickly Pear Artificially Twist is a bust. This is garbage. I mean, if you like Twizzlers, it's fine, but no bueno. Next. All right. Now this one, I'm hoping, is a little bit more legit. Cane sugar, water dextrose, citrus pectin, prickly pear juice, legit prickly pear juice, citrate of lemon, real ingredients. Oh, we got a little story on the back here, and then we'll get into the actual story. The prickly pear cactus is a member of the Apunitina genus, which has been a food source for Native Americans for many centuries. Their large, colorful blossoms appear in yellow, pink, red, or blue. Nothing of interest on the back. Let's just get to it. The article up there that I'm going to start reading to you will tell you a little bit of the history of what I believe, they don't even allude to the name, I believe is the cactus candy that we're eating now. Let's see what this looks like. I'm excited to open this and get in here. Cactus candy, baby! Oh, I can see the green screen effect is up there, so it looks like the flag is right behind it. That's bizarre. The future! All right, let's see what this looks like. Here we go. So we're gonna take the top off. Oh, it's like a little chocolate situation. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's like a little box of chocolates, but little sweeties, little cactus candy sweeties. Don't mind if I do. All right, let's get in here. So this is a weird thing. It's got a texture of like exactly what it looks like. You know those weird candies that are like circles? I don't know what they're called, but they look just like that. That's what it looks like. That's a really good description, Bill. Good job. You know that candy looks like this? It's like that. Yeah, good. It's covered in sugar. Okay. Interesting. Definitely tastier than the last one. Oh boy. Lemony. A lot of lemon here. What the hell is that candy called? I want to say it's called Chuckles. But I don't think that's it. Oh shit, I was right. Damn, you good. Chuckles candy. It looks like this shit. I don't even remember ever eating this in my life. But I knew in a heartbeat that this is what it reminds me of. Damn, I'm good. Oh, this is already turning my stomach. This reminds me of Chuckles. Oh, you can't see it. This is like this. It's very similar to this. The texture of that, the covered in sugar. Okay. I don't know how many of those I could eat. This is just like consuming a ball of sugar. Is this what you guys do in Arizona? You eat sugar like that? Oh, man. I gotta eat something before doing a show where I'm eating candy and drinking wine. Just a thought. All right. Oh, God. The things I do for the show. Okay, so what I do want to get into, our guests are going to be calling in about 20 minutes or so. So I wanted to just run through that story about the Cactus Candy, because, again, I think it was actually pretty interesting. How a candy craze almost wiped out the barrel cactus. I thought this was an interesting story. I don't want to read it verbatim, but I'll go through, because it's literally based on the Cactus Candies. Just ate. So, how a candy craze almost wiped out the barrel cactus. So apparently this candy was based around the barrel cactus. In 1891, on the final leg of his long journey from southern Italy to Arizona, 12-year-old Dominic D'Onofrio looked out the train window. Okay, trains in 1891 in Arizona. And saw his future take shape. For miles, the southwestern desert was an uninterrupted forest of cacti. Tall saguaro and Oregon pipe, clusters of kola and prickly pear, and everywhere the giant round barrel cactus known by Native Americans as Visnaga. So this guy was on a train, southern Italy. Oh, God, my stomach feels like I just consumed 4 big things of sugar. Wine will help. Oh, God. I'm not against eating sugar, but usually I just don't eat candy first thing in the morning. Sorry for whining. Arriving in Phoenix, Dominic went to work on his older brother's booming confectionery. Came to my mind that millions of dollars could be made out of cactus. So this dude created a scheme where he took the cactus that he saw everywhere while taking the train, this southern Italian boy, and turned the cactus into a candy. This is in, what year did we say? 1905. He bought the store from his brother and realized his vision right away. So essentially, like most transplants to America, we saw what the Native Americans were doing and we ripped them off and moved forward and profited. So D'Onofrio here, D'Onofrio's crystallized cactus candy marked its first industrial production in the United States, cooking the pulp and wrapping it in sugar of this stupid barrel cactus. So apparently he was using so much of this goddamn barrel cactus out in Arizona, which I'm sure was or is everywhere, it almost went extinct. That's how much these savages out there loved eating cactus candy. What was the cactus candy? So you had to break open the cactus, get to the meat, and then they cooked it down with sugar and honey, I believe, if I remember right. Yeah, cooked in a sugar syrup over and over again, hotter and hotter. Top secret D'Onofrio process. What an industrious southern Italian gentleman. Workers crystallized the cubes in vats, cooked and crystallized them again, just like we ate. And what we eat now is like a modern, I'm assuming, crap version of what this dude was doing. Because there's no real cactus in it, although there was the passion fruit or prickly pear cactus juice in there in the second one. Result was something like a gumdrop with a sugar crust and a gelatinous core. It's exactly what we just ate. Similar, but different. This is the OG one from 100 years ago. Man, D'Onofrio was really selling the sizzle. Targeted Christmas shoppers, guilty husbands, and snowbirds anxious to impress friends back home. What a goddamn salesman. Cactus candy was pure, wholesome, nourishing, good for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he said. No. I'm here to tell you breakfast it was not good for. His ads claim, thanks to the pure air and sun of the desert, playing on a romanticized version of the Southwest, his cactus candy came in boxes illustrated with Spanish missions and sandal-wearing Native Americans. Boy, did D'Onofrio love to sell the sizzle. Look at this thing. Here it is. I'm glad I found this story today because it really lines up and tells me a lot about this, I'm going to say, bad cactus candy. On top of that, D'Onofrio's promotional material spun an elaborate fake origin story. What a crafty Italian man. For both candy and proprietor. According to the Toltec legend, the sun god imprisoned a beloved maiden's soul inside the Visnaga, which is the cactus, to protect her purity. This legend claimed D'Onofrio's that inspired a Toltec wedding ritual where prospective grooms had to make cactus candy by ripping out thorns with their teeth and crystallizing pulp with wild honey. If nothing else, this D'Onofrio character, D'Onofrio, whatever the hell he was quite, I'm going to go ahead and say, the most clever man Arizona's ever met. This fucking dude saw cactus everywhere, literally turned lemons into lemonade, cut that shit up, cooked it with sugar, and sold it and made a goddamn story. Selling the sizzle. Good for him. That wasn't all. At least one brochure stated that the D'Onofrio family was not Italian, as their name might suggest, but rather had descended from a long line of Mexican confectioners, beginning with D'Onofrio, the royal candy maker, to an ancient Toltec king. Complete bullshit. I love that. I love making up a bullshit story to sell your bad candy. It makes me really happy. By all accounts, the gimmickry paid off. Mail order business soared, and D'Onofrio's new treat popped up in candy stores across the nation. What a great American story. The company produced 15,000 pounds of the stuff in 1920 alone. 15,000 pounds in 1920. Can you imagine how hard that is? I don't think they had the machinery back then to pump that out. And here we go. Illustrious immigrants. A year later, another Mediterranean immigrant took up the cactus candy mantle 400 miles away in El Paso, Texas, to the east. Originally from Greece, George Camaros and his brother-in-law made candy in Mexico City until around 1918, when the Mexican Revolution forced them north. Then they bottled beer and soda in Texas until Prohibition killed that business too, wandering through an outdoor market in search of a new calling. Camaros happened upon a cactus candy stand. Gave the merchant $5 to show him how it was made. Ripped off his idea and moved on. But brilliant immigrants ripping off people who were doing it. I love it. So that guy kept building with the cactuses. He made a cactus candy, cactus preserves, cactus ice cream, infused fruit flavorings, coated it in chocolate. So he just took the cactus and did everything. D'Onofrio made the cactus candy, the grandfather of what we ate today, and this fucking dude took it and said, we're putting everything in this cactus. We're chocolate covering this bitch. We're making jelly out of it. We're doing everything. His candy hawked on every transcontinental train, in restaurants and hotels across the West, even aboard international steamships. 1927, Caramelos produced 165,000 pounds of cactus candy, nearly twice as much a decade later. Wow. Success bred plenty of imitators. Through the 1920s, smaller, shorter-lived cactus candy ventures sprouted up in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and California, wherever the open desert offered Visnaga for the taking. Gushing at the trend, one news reporter optimistically said the supply of the barrel cactus is almost inexhaustible. Wow. And then, of course, in 1924, a cranky El Paso journalist named Norman Walker opted to speak his truth. Eating Mexican cactus candy is like kissing your sister. It fails to satisfy. Okay. What great 1924 reporting. You know, this candy's like kissing your sister. You know, failing to satisfy. What the fuck? After skewering all the cheesy marketing, he got to the bottom of why so many new companies seem to fail. Some success has been attained, but it does not repeat itself in sales. In other words, lots of people bought and sampled one box of cactus candy, but few chose to ever do it again. Yeah, I'd agree. This cactus candy I ate one, and I don't know who's going to eat the rest. I guess it's like kissing your sister. Right, guys? You know, that's such a common thing. I report about it in my newspaper. What the fuck? Things are weird back then in the 20s, I guess. But it didn't make a difference. The trend continued unabated. By the late 1920s, California at least, the desert supply of Viznaga no longer looks so inexhaustible. Our sweet tooth eating up cactus, one paper reported. Barrel cactus in the deserts of San Bernardino and Riverside counties is being taken out by truckloads. Ah, yes, of course, the Cactus Candy industry being attacked by sultans of media. How dare they? Look at this. This guy got a fucking... Look at that fancy sign. Look at that. D'Onofrio made himself something. That young lad driving across the desert in his train. Then he got himself his name in lights. D'Onofrio's Cactus Candy. Some old school shit. I'm really glad. I went literally from, wow, this candy has nothing to do with Arizona, to at least it has some history. I wasn't too far off. I'm glad I found this article. I feel mildly validated. Following in California's footsteps, Arizona adopted protections for its desert plants, blah, 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 including the endangered giant barrel cactus. Dominic D'Onofrio didn't care, though. For 2 more decades, he hired Native American to produce the cactus from his reservation, of course, where he just harvested illegally. Good job. That's the American way. Restrictions come down, go find me a reservation that I could operate on. Once facing extinction, Visalia can be found across the Southwest, blah, 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 full battle for survival. I'm sure they're fine now. Cactus Candy remains an Arizona novelty, on sale alongside cactus jelly in airport gift shops. But these days, most candy is made from prickly pear fruit, rather than the pulp of the imperiled Viznaga. So a taste of the desert is now more sustainable. More sustainable and not good. The candy stinks. Sorry to say, not a great candy. Maybe a good story. That's even debatable. But not a great candy. Sorry to say. So I thought it was interesting that we got the candy. We're talking about the candy a little bit. And the extinction of the, I guess, market for the candy. Because who the hell wants that candy anymore? Since they're making it with fake shit. And, I want to get into the grapes. Let's talk about the grapes. Let's talk about wine. Let's talk about Arizona wine. And apparently that's a big sustainable booming situation out there. Look, I'm not opposed. Sipping on a little bit more Merkin. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this cup going. We got to get the juices flowing. We're talking to our Arizona people in a couple minutes. It's early out there. It's going to be 11 a.m. out there, I guess. It'll be 11 a.m. out there, so I'm assuming they're not drinking wine. But who knows how Arizona rolls? Maybe they're Friday 11 a.m. They're popping some reds. So there's obviously more to Arizona wine than just the Maynard based vineyards that he has. It's Merkin, and I think he has another one. Where is it? Merkin Vineyards and Caduceus Cellars. I don't know the difference between all these. I don't want to read all this and just get into it. But he's got a couple different vineyards, and then he's got some food places out there. He's got some cool shit going, and obviously he's like a big name that people will know. But I'm sure most people who even love Tool don't even know that he's doing that out there. But there is like 50 other vineyards. I don't want to just focus on his or his business either, because I'm sure there's better producers and great producers out there. But what we are drinking here, we can look into a little bit. This blend changes year to year depending on where our alchemist inclinations lead us. But it's usually rooted in French Alsatian varietals. I tell you what, this is really delicious wine, and without getting into like crazy tasting notes on it, the thing that it does remind me of is, I think does it say table wine, or like it says red table wine? It literally reminds me of like wine that I would drink, literally like table wine that they would offer you in Italy, like at someone's home, and they bring out the carafe that, like, you know, Uncle Giuseppe made, and it's in a big jug, and then, you know, they're pouring it out. Like, it's similar to that, not in a bad way by any means. Like, it has this freshness to it, and this is 2018. It has like a really vibrant, fresh vibe. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but you could taste like the sun and you could taste a little bit of that Arizona, and I hate to say that. That sounds cheesy, but if you've drank wine before, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's really bright, rich, juicy, light, very crushable, especially for the, what is it, almost 14%. That's a dangerous one. So I'm excited to talk wine with some Arizona wine experts out there, and talk food with with Melissa from Eat Drink Arizona. She's got a great blog slash Instagram slash situation going on where she does that. But I wanted to get back into these Sonoran hot dogs a little bit for a second. Now, again, I don't think this is a big thing, but maybe it is. The beloved Tucson dog has a following. Like Chicago and New York, Tucson has its own beloved style of hot dog. The Sonoran hot dog originates from Hermosillo, Mexico. Slightly sweet bun, like I said, yeah. You can see that the bun is, this is just an example image, but you can see that the bun is like this inflated, brioche-looking. Some of them look like fried flatbreads. Like the bun is a thing. What is this? A fucking sausage stuffed pepper? What the hell is that? What the hell are you guys doing in Arizona? Oof. Slightly sweet bun, bacon-wrapped wiener, pinto beans, onions, tomatoes, salsa verde, mustard, and mayo. I mean, that's a lot of crap. You got a lot going on there. You're not focusing on. To me, hot dogs are a different thing, but I digress. Let's talk about the Tucson dog, the Sonora dog. Deviants may include other toppings such as sliced mushrooms, grated cheese, or crushed potato chips. Yeah. But Tucsonians tend to prefer the classic with a toasty bun. Some connoisseurs claim a special finesse is required for toasting the bun. I believe that. Most things require special finesse. While others claim that the ratio of ingredients is what make or break a dog. Of course, I agree with that too. That would lead to finesse. This is a terrible written article. Why can't we say, well, we can't say which is most important. Here's a list of joints that deliver the whole package. All right, so, we'll ask if they've been to any of these places or if these are iconic of what it's supposed to be. But here's a different picture of what looks like a weird mutated chili dog, but it looks like they're doing these charred chilies with it. Like, I want to know more about these charred peppers. What kind of peppers are those? Sonoran dogs with a chipilon style with cheese melted on this bread. While you're there, don't miss out on the takoyaki. No, BK taco. Look at all these tacos. No. I mean, it's definitely like a Mexican thing, right? It's definitely rooted in Mexico. And being so close to Mexico, it makes sense that they would have these kind of hot dogs. If you know Mexican cuisine a little bit, you know that they have the torta, they have the semita, which are both like sandwiches, very, not huge size of your head sandwiches, but inflated, let's say like a double sandwich, and packed with all of these things, like with the beans and the avocado and the queso and the chilies and the meat, your protein of choice, and lettuce, tomato, onion on a special roll. So this reminds me of like a semita or a torta, but in hot dog world. So there's just a bunch of places out there that I guess are good. I mean, we don't need to deep dive on these places. This one looks better than the others, but that's just flattering photography. Ruiz hot dogs. Yeah, all right. So the Sonoran hot dog's a thing. We'll talk a little bit about that with our guests. See what they think about that. And then another article I found today was Made in Arizona, 10 local essentials to grab at the grocery store. I didn't get any of these. Again, you could only find so much shit. And once you find it and you can get it shipped here, that's that month. So we got the Merkin juice, which is fantastic and a great entryway to talk about Arizona wine, which I'm super stoked to talk about. And the Cactus Candy, which I'm willing to bet all our Arizona natives may have never eaten and agree it sucks. But I guess we'll find out. So let's check out what this Phoenix New Times suggests 10 iconic or 10 essentials to grab at the grocery store in Arizona. Well, by the way, what a great article for someone like me. But if you live in Arizona, would you ever read this? If I read Made in Arizona, 10 local essentials to grab at the grocery store. Anyway. Cotino sauce. Liquid gold. Looks like some kind of hot sauce that they're making out there. Not sure. It doesn't say where they're making it. I'm assuming this is made. I'm assuming all of these are made. Made in Arizona packaged foods. Yeah, here we go. So we got a hot sauce, Cotino sauce. Let's see if they know anything about that. We'll ask them that for sure. I love me a hot sauce. Remember from the Alaska episode, we had that fantastic Barnacle Foods hot sauce. I've been eating that shit all week. It's goddamn delicious. Sting and Linger salsa. It's a great name. It looks gross. Jarred salsa can be tricky, often too runny or too blah. You know, I don't really want to read your description. I'm not a fan of this writer. I could just tell by the vibe I'm getting. But I'll read your headline. Sting and linger salsa. All right. Probably not something I'm going to reach for. Mediterra Bakehouse. All right. Fresh baked bread is a religious experience for you. Get ready. Coolidge, Alaska. Jesus Christ. Arizona. Crusty creations made to last. Loaves are baked with longer fermentation times, centuries-old techniques, and fewer ingredients. I love that. Flour, water, and salt. So this is great. Mediterra Bakehouse is somewhere I would want to get my feet into. I love any place that's doing like legit sourdough, classic style breads. You know, it's something else that really gives you a taste of the area. In San Francisco, sourdough is going to taste different than it does in Arizona. This and that. Blah 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 blah. I would expect if you're watching this, you know a little bit about sourdough breads and how it works. Chia cookies. Audrey's chia cookies. I don't know. Sure. I mean, if you brought them over, I'd eat them. Hayden Flour Mills. I didn't know they were in Arizona. I buy their shit out here. They got great. That's a great product. I had no clue they were in Arizona. Fantastic. Definitely support that. Ancient grains, mills grown in Arizona on small farms and grinds them on an Austrian stone mill. Fantastic. Chris Bianco. Yeah, great. A Namido take and bake vegan cookie dough. Okay, sure. Next. Peanut butter Americano. Peanut butter with jazz hands. Okay. Let's see. What do we grow in the... Cinnamon honey, come on. Cinnamon and Arizona wildflower honey, and the dark chocolate adds chocolate vanilla to the mix. I don't like a bunch of shit in my peanut butter, to be honest with you. But, you know, if it's a thing, and I don't think they're growing peanuts in Arizona last I heard, but what do I know? That's why we're here. Peanut butter Americano. Did that. Cactus Candy Company jelly. I'm good. I'm pretty sure that the Cactus Candy that we just had is their old jelly that they've solidified and covered in sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm right on that. Kettle Heroes. Popcorn. Every state loves having a stupid popcorn. I think Chicago started that trend, but damn. Stupid popcorn. All right, cool. Maybe it's great. AZ Queen Bee Honey. I love some local honey, of course. I'm sure that's fantastic. All right, great. Well, we'll see if any of these things ring true with our guests. They should be joining us shortly. They're going to be popping in. I told them all at the same time. One by one. We'll see. Oh, here comes Corey. Look at this. I'll admit him right in. Let's make sure this all works. Is that Corey? Cody. Sorry, it says, I'm sorry. I can't read that far. What's up, Cody? Let me change.
Chronically early, but
no, that's good. Early is good. I just hopped over. We're live right now, just so you know. I just hopped over. Let me just get my screen up here so we can see you. There we go. What's up, buddy? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, finally.
My assistant wants to say something.
Yes, of course.
Oh, come on. Step up. Well, he wanted to say something.
Aw. Oh, what's up, buddy? What's the assistant's name?
His name is Pippin.
Pippin? Pippin's adorable. What kind of bird is that?
He is a pineapple green-cheeked conure.
A pineapple green-cheeked conure. I don't even know what that is. I'm not a bird guy. I was just looking at...
Parrot.
A parrot. I was looking at the state bird of Arizona just because I was going over Arizona stuff. And I saw that it was the cactus wren. Not that means...
Yes, cactus wren is our state bird, although I have philosophical disagreements with that as our state bird.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I read a fact sheet and saw that that's what it was. I was like, okay, state, cactus wren it is.
Well, my philosophy and why I'm against the cactus wren is that it really only represents the southern half of the state, which does have all the deserts. North here, we don't really have cactus wrens. We don't have cactus, really. We have, towering mountains and pine forests and the 8th snowiest city in the lower 48.
So where are you at?
Exactly
not to give away your location exactly, but that leads me to a good point. So in Arizona, I know nothing about Arizona. As far as, if we're just going to cut it into a quadrant, I'm sure the North Arizona and South Arizona is very different, but you said you were in the North? Are you in the Northwest, Northeast, Grand Canyon kind of area?
I'm sort of actually North Center.
Okay, so kind of near the Grand Canyon if I'm looking at this map right, ish.
I'm about 2 hours from the Grand Canyon. I'm actually much closer to Sedona.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm just trying to get an idea because, like, as I do these shows, I talk to people in different areas. I love talking about, like, different areas because people from, I know I'm in New Jersey, people in North Jersey, you know, the vibe is a little bit different than it is in South Jersey. So it's always good to know where people are from and kind of check in. So that's cool. What's it like up in North Arizona right now?
Well, right now, lots and lots of cloud cover.
Okay.
Storms are predicted for the next 3 days, which is nice.
Oh, all right.
Here in the Verde Valley, we've only had about 6 inches of rain in the last year, which is far under what we should be getting. So hopefully, the storm will allow us to catch up.
Nice. All right, I'm looking on the map right now just to kind of get an idea of like where you're at over there. All right, cool, very cool. Yeah, Arizona looks like an interesting place. I was just going over some of like the food and this weird cactus candy that I got from there that apparently is like a thing, but it is not very pleasant to eat.
Yeah, it could be made a lot better.
Yeah, I just read a little.
My friends have made homemade versions
with real cactus. I'm sure it makes it probably a lot better.
Okay.
Here comes Janelle. Let's add her to the conversation. Aw, birdie. Janelle, are you with us? She's probably getting her video set up. What a great bird. I wish I had a bird that was
a very friendly guy.
I wish I had a bird that was hanging out with me.
It's kind of like having a permanent toddler that sits on your shoulder 24/7.
I remember my mom had a bird. I forget what kind. It was definitely not nearly as friendly as that. It did talk, though. You know, it said whatever you would tell it, but, you know, wasn't as cute either. Aw, good little bird.
He likes wine just as much as I do.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, speaking of, I just popped a bottle of the, what do I got here? The only thing I could get in New Jersey shipped here when I was shipping in some other stuff from Alaska was a bottle of the Merkin Chupacabra.
Oh, that's a really nice GSM.
It's super tasty. I mean, I feel like I might have had this before. I know I've had something from Caduceus, whatever it is. And it was delicious. And I did a wine dinner early at some point. Janelle, I think she's trying to join. It looks like she's here. Is she here? It says she's here. Maybe she's having complications.
I think I sort of hear her.
Oh yeah, I hear her in the back. She's very low. Janelle, you're...
Next Level Tabletop just subscribed. Bits and bytes.
Janelle, you're very low. I don't think we could hear you. Oh, I think I hear her talking, but I can't hear her at all. What's happening? Is that something I can do? Is that her? I don't think there's anything I can do with volume. Let's see. You hear me okay, right, Cody?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, I hear you. I see you. Well, I don't know, Janelle. Maybe drop and rejoin, maybe? Maybe you just gotta do one of those. I guess you could hear us? I'm not sure. Oh, this is what happens when you do it live. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I was saying, though, the Merkin, this is super tasty. I popped it. I took a sip here. I was at some kind of dinner years ago where Maynard was there talking about his wines. That was like I guess one of the bits. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I got to chat with him for a little bit about it. And he was saying how good Italian grapes grow in Arizona. And I was just like, at the time, I knew nothing about it because it just seemed crazy. I was like, oh, is this like a wacky Maynard thing? Like he just went to Arizona because he's crazy and decided to grow some weird grapes out there and just see what happens. But as I was going to the Arizona show, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I had the wine that one time from them, and it was fantastic. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Is that Melissa?
Hi. Hold on. I'm just turning my computer because it's in my bedroom facing my bed.
It's all good. So take your time. We're live. I'm gonna keep talking with Cody. He's in here too. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, we could all meet each other. This is great. It's like a nice little chitter chatter.
Janelle and I know each other.
Yeah, Janelle, you.
I actually helped. Excuse me. You can finish. Sorry, my assistant is being very vocal. Come on, Pippin.
That bird is freaking out. His pet bird's a big thing in Arizona. There she is. Hey, Melissa.
All right.
anyway, I helped write one of the introductory chapters, or an introduction to one of the sections in Janelle's book.
Right, for Arizona Wine Guide, right? Give that the plug, the old ArizonaWineGuide.com.
Yeah, that's an amazing book. Janelle did a lot of work on that. It's definitely a labor of love, and the photography is beautiful.
I wish I got my hands on it before the show, because like I said, I think it was, there she is.
Hey!
Hello, I'm just turning up the volume super quick on my computer.
All good.
What?
Oh no,
Okay, there we go.
I hear echoes. Uh-oh. Oh no. Who's echoing? There you are. What's up, Janelle? You made it.
I'm having audio issues.
It's all good. You sound good. We can see you now. We are all here.
Oops.
Hello.
Yay. All right, everyone. So let's just do, I guess, a quick introduction. You could all kind of introduce yourselves since we're all here to each other, and then we'll just do a little chat. And again, this is live. You have a camera view. Your camera view of me is different than like what's being broadcast. It looks a little bit better. You probably just see a green screen behind me and weirdness. But thank you for joining, the three of you. Excited to talk with you about Arizona and food and wine, all that stuff. So I don't know. Let's go around. Melissa, I guess we'll start with you, and then we'll have the Janelle and then Cody and a little introduction, and then we'll kick off some food and wine chats.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Happy Friday. We made it.
Cheers.
Cheers. So I am a food vlogger, not blogger here in Arizona, born and raised. I do not write because I suck at writing, but my mouth is pretty good at yapping.
Yes.
So I'm excited to get on camera, talk about food and drinks here in my state.
Awesome.
And that's pretty much what I do.
Awesome, Melissa. Thanks for joining. That's great. And that's Eat Drink AZ on Instagram.
Yeah.
On your website. I think.
Yeah.
Janelle.
Yes.
From Arizona Wine Guide. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
There we have it. Here's the book.
That looks beautiful. I wish I got I should have got one for the show. I'm an idiot. I'm a dope.
And here we have, I heard Cody talking earlier. Here we have Cody.
Look at that gentleman.
Hello.
Yeah, and he did the introduction to Verde Valley.
Nice.
So, yeah, we've got 544 pages in the book, and it covers 45 different stories.
Great.
42 wineries and 3 tasting rooms. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm a food and lifestyle photographer, but the last 3.5 years, I've really dedicated myself to the book.
Nice. Awesome. And Cody.
So, folks call me the Arizona Wine Monk. I run a blog focusing on. Sorry, my assistant keeps talking over me. I need to try and figure out how he can be a little quieter. I need to give him some seed. But anyway. So, everyone, this is my assistant, Pippin.
Pippin, hello.
Pippin.
Glad you could join us, Pippin.
He's so cute.
He is a really cute. He's a good boy. But I started the Arizona Wine Monk blog about 7 years ago as a result of starting a little column in a local arts newspaper here in the Verde Valley critiquing Arizona wines. And at the time, I thought it would be a great way to diminish my cellar. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. At that time, my cellar was 36 bottles, and now it's 418.
Oh, nice. Good job.
The party is
mostly
at
Arizona
Cody's.
bottle. Say again?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I said the party is at Cody's.
Yeah.
But, and from there, it's expanded also to a podcast. 2 podcasts, actually. Excuse me, Pippin. Yes, we must pay attention to the precious.
Pippin's fantastic.
He is a spoiled little child. Anyway, it's expanded to 2 podcasts, the Arizona Wine Monk podcast and the Make America Grape Again podcast, which explores the American wine industry as a whole. And actually, I've drunk a bottle of wine now from all 50 states.
Nice.
For that podcast, which has been fun.
That's a great stat. Yeah.
Excuse me, Pippin. Day jobs include taking care of the Pippin, as well as doing Jeep tours in Sedona and off-site sales for one of the local wineries in Arizona called Laramida Cellars.
Very cool. Great. Well, guys, thank you all for joining. This is super cool. And like I said, casual hang. Don't feel pressure to stick around. If you got something to do, you got to run. I don't want you to feel like you're a hostage here or anything. I just want to chat a little bit. I'm from New Jersey. And, you know, the idea of the show was that for the past year, I wasn't able to really travel a lot, which I usually do. And I like to go out and hang out with local people at the bars and restaurants when I go out. And I haven't been able to do that. And I thought it would be very cool to pick a state, try to find the coolest people who know food and drink, and chat with them literally just like this. So thank you for joining. Very cool. So let me just check a little bit. I don't know much about Arizona as a whole. And we talked to Cody already where he's kind of from in the state. So I'm looking at the map. He's from the Verde Valley, so I can kind of get an idea from where he's from. But without giving away, you know, your home address, like, Melissa, what section of Arizona are you from? Like, what would be, if I'm looking at the map, like, where are you at-ish, just so I can get an idea?
I'm like smack. I always think of Old Town as kind of like right smack in the middle. It's in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Grew up in Mesa though, and I've pretty much lived everywhere in the valley, and now I'm like perfectly centered in the middle.
All right.
Much.
And what do we call the middle? Is like Phoenix there? No, Phoenix is a little south. It's like a little north of that.
Well, I look at how big Mesa is, and I look at how big Phoenix is, and then you got right and left, and I'm kind of like smack in the middle right there next to Tempe.
Okay.
Like right on the border of Tempe and kind of where Scottsdale starts.
Okay, cool.
Right there in the middle.
And all right, so you're dead center, we'll call you. And Janelle, where-ish are you in the state?
I'm in North Scottsdale.
Okay, so you're all kind of in the same kind of zone.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's very close together. And yeah, I've been here about 30 years.
Cool. So let me ask you guys, like, the first question I have, I guess, is like in the state like New Jersey, you know, I'll quantify it as like there's North Jersey, there's Central Jersey, and there's South Jersey. And there's different demographics of people, not really demographics, but different types of people and types of vibe. Like if you go hang out in North Jersey, it's a lot closer to being in New York City than it is in Central Jersey, than it is in South Jersey, where it's a lot closer to being like Philadelphian style. So like what would it be like in Arizona, or your thoughts on that? You know, do you break it up like that? Is it like a North Arizona, South Arizona kind of thing? Or is it like an East-West? Is there like a different, you know, like area? Like, oh yeah, if you go out there.
I think it's mainly, it's about 3 regions. We've got North, the Central, and the Southern Arizona.
All right.
And we've got vineyards in the North and the South, not in the Central.
Okay, interesting. And the Central.
Is that right, Cody? Tell me if I'm right.
Well, it depends on kind of how you're splitting it.
Yeah.
I kind of like to divide Arizona in 4 parts. You've got northeastern Arizona, which I call Dinata, which is mostly Native American country.
I see that the Hopi Reservation up here and the Navajo. I'm looking at the reservations.
Yeah, the Hopi and the Navajo are all there. It's a different cultural milieu. It's a different cuisine milieu. Very traditional. Then you have what I call northern Arizona, which I would say ends at about Prescott, which is intensely sort of individualistic, and I would say in some cases almost libertarian. That's where you've got the Verde Valley as part of that segment.
Okay.
And then you have central Arizona, which includes basically Phoenix and the areas around Phoenix. And then the 4th region, as Pippin obviously has astutely pointed out, is Baja Arizona, for me anyway, which would be Tucson on south. Basically everything that became part of the Gadsden Purchase.
Okay.
At least that's how I personally split Arizona. To me, that seems to be sort of the 4 different cultural and cuisine and idealistic milieus of Arizona.
Right. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a good. Melissa, you agree with that generally? That's kind of where you're coming from as well?
I agree for the whole state, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, that looks about right. Just looking, it's really great to. I'm looking at a map while you do it. I'm showing it on screen, so it makes a lot more sense when you break it out that way. It's like, okay.
So, I'll show you. I don't know how well you can see it, but that's pointing to where Cody is.
Right.
The highlight there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So let's talk a little bit about Arizona food. So when I do these shows, I try to find like the most like iconic kind of food that represents it that I can also get, right? So delicate balance. So the thing that I got that to me after eating it seems like a roadside treat that is not that great was this Cactus Candy that tastes like, I don't know, not great. I mean, it tastes like prickly pear juice and lemon covered in sugar. It was the first thing I ate this morning. It really wasn't fantastic. So as native Arizonians, is this like just a joke? This is something you don't eat, right? This isn't common for you. You may have seen it when you get gas.
Common for us at all.
Yeah, I would think.
Makes for a great gift.
Exactly. That's what I was reading about it. Yeah.
For me, I would say the more iconic use was a prickly pear. Excuse me, Pippin. The more iconic uses of prickly pear for me would be the pads themselves in cuisine.
Yeah.
Very heavily influenced by Mexican cuisine, nopales.
Yeah, for sure.
And as for fruit, I would say the jam and jellies made from it, as well as the most iconic Arizona cocktail, arguably, being the prickly pear margarita. I would say also, and it surprises me, excuse me, Pippin. Pippin is trying to talk over me.
Pippin's got a lot to say.
He does. But he doesn't quite have the same expertise that I do. He's bird-splaining to me.
Yes, of course. Of course he is.
But something that surprises me that I don't see more of in Arizona restaurants, because it was such a major food for the indigenous inhabitants of this area, would be mesquite.
The wood.
But mesquite flour, mesquite grain.
Okay, yeah.
Mesquite honey. But maybe that's just something that isn't here in the Verde and it's down south. What about you, Melissa? What do you think?
Well, I just actually started traveling to Tucson too, and minus if you're going to something touristy like the cactus that you got, you're not even, we're just having this conversation with a restaurant owner last week, and she opened up kind of everything that we forage here. I mean, she has hen, she has nopales like on the menu, but you don't really find that when I'm going and I'm touring these restaurants.
Right.
It's a lot of just tacos, rice and beans, or if I'm heading down south to Tucson, you got the Sonoran, the Moriscos, kind of bringing those food vibes in. But honestly, a lot of the food and a lot of the restaurants here in the Valley, minus when you're hitting those Mexican restaurants, we're pulling in a lot of like big chain California places where we're trying to like vibe up, and that's kind of like the theme that's been running right now. But as far as like what he's talking about, very, very rare to find in the restaurant.
So it's really hard, you're saying now. It sounds like the sad story of most kind of states now, where the local kind of indigenous food and culture and mom and pop restaurants that can do what would be considered local is just getting pushed out by the glitzy and the money that's coming out.
Our local is tacos, rice, and beans here in the Valley.
Right.
And then when I've toured Tucson, same thing, but a lot of Sonoran style Morisco, a lot of Moriscos places.
Right. Well, I mean, I was looking up some of the food. Like I said, I got the Cactus Candy because it seemed like the most readily available thing, and I was like, all right, there's a good talking point at least. So before you guys came on, I read a little bit about it, like the history of it and stuff. So it does actually have like a pretty interesting history, which I won't get into. But before we pivot into the wine a little bit, I wanted to talk about the other foods that I saw. And yes, cactus paddle and stuff like that is obviously something that grows out there in your land of cactuses. But the Sonoran hot dog is a thing.
Yeah.
Is a thing that I see coming up over and over again, and it seems kind of like an iconic, almost kind of thing. And it looks to me, again, I'll just give you my food critic / culinary opinion. It looks like an overloaded, kind of gross hot dog, but maybe it's delicious. I mean,
you're not wrong.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, though. Let me just give you my again.
Let me tell you this: it tastes a lot better than it looks.
I'm sure it does, because it is a big now correct me if I'm wrong here. It's generally like, it looks like sometimes it's on a fry bread, perhaps like just a larger sweet kind of hot dog roll that's toasted, a hot dog of questionable origin, no like specific Arizona type brand hot dog, just some hot dog wrapped in bacon, hit with the beans, hit with the salsa, hit with the onions, and probably whatever else you could possibly imagine on there. Yeah. It looks massive.
Yep.
It looks very difficult to eat, and it's probably great drunk food. But is that something you guys crush? Is that something you guys eat on the reg, or is that like a drunk food, like a late night kind of hit? What's the idea with the Sonoran hot dogs?
You don't find it in the Valley a lot. You find it in Tucson everywhere. Like Tucson, I feel like that's their staple.
Okay.
It's not here in the Valley staple.
Yeah, agreed. It's very rare north of Tucson. In fact, I only know of one restaurant north of Phoenix that even has one.
Interesting.
In Flagstaff. It's something that I would like to see a lot more. Pippin, don't touch the red button. Sorry.
Watch out, Pippin.
But yeah, I would say it's rightly iconic, but it's not as iconic as outsiders think it is. But I think all of us insiders would agree it needs to be more iconic for us because we all like them.
Yeah, I just think that's why I love having these conversations because, again, I'm from New Jersey. I've never set foot in Arizona, and I'm pretty good at doing food research and drink research. So I just did it. I didn't spend hours on it, but that was a big thing that kept coming up. So I would expect if I land anywhere in Arizona, wake up tomorrow, I should be able to go get one of those just by the way it reads.
Definitely not.
And that's interesting. That's interesting that it's only in a little area. Yeah, that's interesting because I would not have thought. I would have been in the north by the Grand Canyon looking for these hot dogs. People would be looking at me very strangely.
Well, unless you went to that one restaurant in Flagstaff.
Okay. Just the one.
I can't remember. I want to say it's Grillo. Starts with a G. I can't remember. It may not even be there anymore. It's been a good amount of time since I've eaten in Flagstaff.
So do you fork and knife that thing, or do you just go at it like a big hoagie? What's the bit?
Just go at it.
You just do it? You just go to work?
Eat it like a Chicago dog.
Yeah, that's the fair. That's
Shove it in your mouth.
That's what it reminded me of. Yeah, a big Chicago dog. Okay, so let's see. We're in Arizona. We have our regions kind of blocked out. The Sonoran hot dog. Is there any other kind of foods that you guys would suggest? Cody, you already said the mesquite, the flour, and also the nopales. But Melissa, do you have anything that you would, at least from your area, that you would identify as maybe not iconic, but like something that you could see everywhere or would represent around? I know it's a tricky question. Like if someone asked me that, I wouldn't even know what to say. But is there something that sticks out?
To an extent, at least in Dynata, north of Flagstaff, I would say fry bread.
Fry bread, yeah.
And then there are a lot of different approaches to fry bread. For instance, one of the traditions was to use that fry bread as a base and actually do basically what's known as a Navajo taco, where you put your meat and your veggies on top of that. Instead of a taco shell,
right,
you put it on fry bread.
That sounds uniquely Arizonian.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of that would really be iconic food-wise. And easily recognizable as Arizonan.
So
for me, anyway.
Let me ask you this, Melissa. I guess do you agree with that? That sounds like right. I don't know if there's anything else specific near you.
I think when here in the valley, I say when people are asking me for my food recommendations, or I have people hitting me on my Instagram, it's always, where do we go for Mexican? Where do we go for Mexican? Like that's probably the most
Mexico. You go to Mexico for Mexican.
I'm not going to send them to. I ask them two things. I go, are you looking for environment, or are you looking for actually good traditional? How I grew up, I'm Hispanic.
Right.
How I grew up, traditional Mexican food, because I'm going to send you to a hole in the wall.
Right.
I'm not going to send you, but it's going to be bomb.
Yeah. Abuelita's cooking in the back. She's making up all the goods. That's what we want.
That's kind.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah, that's I would say out of anything, my TikToks and my Instagram and Facebook, I get hit up for Mexican food, which you would think that people would kind of just know, but there's so many and it's so flooded that they don't get to all the places.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch.
They're always wanting to know.
Well, you're fortunate enough to be butted up against Mexico, so your Mexican food quality index is super, super high.
It's good.
I'm sure. Yeah, your bad Mexican is definitely better than some of my best, I bet. So
I do have a funny New York story. My ex-husband was from Long Island, and I would come down and make like legit tacos, and they would go crazy. But when I first got there, my first year that I was there, they were like, we're going to take you to a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, I want to eat Italian. Like, I'm going to New York.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So they take me to, hold on, their best Mexican restaurant.
Oh, no.
And it was on the border.
Oh, no.
True story.
Did you get the salsa margarita out of the tap?
Oh,
that's sad. I'm sorry you had to experience that.
I made it for them every single year, and that's what they were excited about.
Well, that's why he's your ex. We figured it all out. The whole story laid itself out.
Exactly.
Who would do such a thing? Well, that's...
Now, there are some restaurants that do specialize in here Arizona wine. Melissa, you probably know some of those. It's F&B, Southern Trail, Beckett's Table.
Yep.
More and more. When I started food photography about 6 years ago, it was really hard to find a restaurant that carried Arizona wine, but that is changing slowly but surely.
Yeah. So how
And
big?
that's one reason I did the book, was because I was a food photographer and I'd go and shoot all this food, and I'd ask them if they had Arizona wine, and they didn't. They didn't even know about it 2 years ago.
Yeah, Arizona wine is a big interesting thing. So like I said, I'll set the table one more time. Like I only learned about it a couple years ago when I was at a dinner, and like I said, Maynard Keenan from Tool was there because he was pushing his vineyard at the time, and it was a James Beard house dinner. He was there as a small thing. It was very cool to talk to him and talk about Arizona wine, and he walked around and chatted with everybody. And this is the first time I heard of Arizona wine, and I just thought it was like a weird, he's a amazing musician and crazy artist. I just thought he was going off and doing some kind of crazy wine art project in Arizona. But little did I realize that there's this huge scene of growing grapes in Arizona. And after talking to him briefly about the grapes, he was saying that the Italian varietals grow so well down there just due to the environment. It was really interesting to hear that. We drank all those wines that night, and they were fantastic. There it is, the picture, yeah. That's a great book.
It's really heavy.
Yeah, I see it big.
So he's the real deal. He's hands-on. I've seen him.
Yeah, he is definitely the real. Like I said, when I talked to him there, he was definitely not just a face. He definitely knows what's going on there.
Yeah,
but
he's into it.
Yeah, not just
and
a
he's done a lot for the industry as a whole.
Well, I'm sure his exposure, for the whole area. I mean, again, that's how I figured out about it. I mean, I drink wine, I sell wine, I do a lot of things with wine, and I never would have thought Arizona had some great wine going. Oh, what a great shot.
Yeah, that's him with his wife and his cellar up in Jerome.
So, yeah, let's get into... He's great, and we could talk about him all day, but I'm sure there's a million other...
One thing I want to say about Maynard and his influence in the wine industry is that he had a huge effect in getting the Southwest Wine Center started over at Yavapai College. And that is a phenomenal thing because that's basically one of the very few hands-on winery production centers for students in the whole U.S.
So you have
basically you've got the grapes growing, you've got the equipment.
There's the
Maynard was a huge sponsor for that.
So that's a whole school that you have down there. I'm looking at it right now in Jerome. So the Southwest Wine Center is like a school or like a program. Like,
yes,
tell me about that.
It's a school program at Yavapai College, located in Clarkdale. So just actually down the road from Jerome. You can see Clarkdale from Jerome.
Yeah, actually. I see. It's very close to Jerome. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
But Maynard was responsible for help kickstarting that, and basically it's a way for all the students to do everything hands-on, from farming the grapes to harvesting the grapes to making the wine to bottling.
That's fantastic.
Label design, everything from square one. So that way these guys can go out into the local industry or in other places throughout the U.S. or even beyond. I think one of our alumni is in New Zealand or Australia right now or something like that.
Cody, I feel like you would know this. How long has he been doing wine in Arizona?
The early 2003 or 4 when it
All right.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah. All right, so let's say 15 plus years, whatever it is. Before that, who was doing? Was there was wine going on in Arizona? Was it smaller? Was he a big pop to the Arizona wine scene?
He was a big pop to it.
Wasn't Page Springs one of the first ones?
Mm-hmm.
Page Springs was one of the first. The very first winery in Arizona, post-Prohibition, was Sonoyta Vineyards down in Sonoyta, Arizona, and the Sonoyta AVA, which is one of our 3 major growing regions so far. I say so far for a very specific reason. Gordon Dutt was one of those key players who basically figured out that, hey, why aren't we growing grapes down here? Let's do it, and did it, and that was the first vineyard. And then Sonoyta was kind of the first nexus. Kent Galligan came shortly after that. Al Buell was one of the big pioneers down in Wilcox, sadly, late Al Buell. And then there was all these players trickling in, and then it finally came back to the Verde Valley in the mid-'90s. But when Maynard came in, that was the big push.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bring a pop,
with,
right?
Golomsky.
Okay.
With Page Springs.
So it seems like that. I mean, so there's wine in New Jersey, right? But New Jersey wine is not really that fantastic. It's just not. They grow.
Honestly, I had actually a fantastic Frankish coming from Tomasello Vineyards.
Okay, I haven't had any of their wines in quite some time, but I would love to try that. But the last time I went around and tried New Jersey wines, they were just overly sweet, obviously just doused with sugar and stuff like that. And this...
No, this was a really nice dry Blaufränkisch, nice oak backing, very reminiscent of classic examples of Blaufränkisch coming from Central Austria. I was really impressed with it. That was my first New Jersey episode for the Make America Great Again podcast, was that wine.
Nice. Well, I got to get my hands on some of that now. That sounds fantastic. So how many vineyards?
I wouldn't mind getting a hand on that myself again.
We'll have to do a wine trade. How many vineyards do we have out in Arizona now, ish?
Over 100.
Over 100. Wow.
Yeah, and there are so many emerging vineyards that I see all the time that I'm going to go visit this spring. But Cody, what do you think about the number? Like 120 maybe?
I think the last time I counted was around 103. It's finally getting to the point where I can no longer keep track of everybody, which is awesome. But it also makes me feel like I'm losing intense street cred. Because I used to know just about everybody. And now I'm finding that people know about me that I don't know about, and that just makes me feel really awkward. It's like, who are you? Oh, I didn't know about you guys. Tell me more.
Are there a couple?
We have 4 vineyards now in Kingman, which I have not been there. That's all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, I only knew that there was 2, so that's news to me.
Kingman, Kingman, Arizona. Is that a town?
Yep.
Kingman is north.
It's what you hit before you go to Vegas.
Okay, there it is. I'm looking at it on a map live. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I see where it is. Oh yeah, it's borderline. You can get right there. How many, I guess is it to Melissa, how many like restaurants, I mean, you've been to a lot of restaurants right in Arizona, I'm sure, as you all have. And someone mentioned this before, like wine-focused restaurants that really do deal specifically with Arizona wine. Like I would be curious, like if I show up in Arizona and I want to go eat at a restaurant that really is showcasing some Arizona wines, are they out there?
There's a few.
They definitely are. I find them more in the local driven area for me that I see, where they're bringing in wines and foods and things like that, is mainly the like Arcadia, Phoenix, middle area, some of Scottsdale, but mainly that, like, for some reason, that Phoenix Arcadia area is really all about bringing in local tequilas and wines and supporting companies like Archula Seafood and bringing in as much as they can. And if I go out to eat and I'm touring Glendale and Mesa and all these other ones, I'm not saying they're not there.
Right.
Just for some reason, the community and the chefs are a little bit more tight-knit in the middle.
They're a little more dialed in up there. Yeah.
Here in the Verde Valley, for example, really, you've got Vino de Sedona, which mostly has the bottle shop aspect of bottles of Arizona wine that you can buy with a nice tapas menu and food menu. I would say also, of course, up the creek in Page Springs, which is just down from DA Ranch. Maynard's Osteria up here, the Mercant Osteria, I would say counts. I mean, it's all of his wines, not really anybody else's.
Sure, but still.
It's his wines with local cuisine. And that's really all I can think of for the Verde Valley and Sedona, which surprises me with how foodie this area likes to pretend it is. Sorry, fighting words. We claim to be foodie up here, but we're really not, and we should be foodier.
I think
It's really changing, though. Cody, isn't it really changing? I see a lot more social media about the food in the Verde Valley. What do you think, Melissa? Have you heard about any of that?
No, not from like your last question, no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Really...
We're getting food, we're getting restaurants, but they're not interested in the ones that are literally, in some cases, being poured next door or down the street.
Right.
Which boggles my mind.
I'm sure that changes with time. You know, I don't know how that works, but I'm sure that sounds like something that evolves with interest. So I guess
it hasn't been nearly the same. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, it's all good.
I have ADHD, so if I don't say a thought right away, it will disappear and I will never get it back.
It's all good. We don't want to lose the thoughts. Could spit it out.
What I have noticed, though, the Arizona beer scene is flourishing in more restaurants than Arizona wine.
Yeah, I did want to...
I don't know whether it has to do with beer being cheaper than wine, beer being more interesting to people than wine.
More approachable, maybe.
Or just both.
Yeah, I want...
I want to buzz in on that because I think that I think that the craft beer scene boomed around like 2008 and 7, but I think that our wine everywhere else where everyone's had great wine and we've had our wine scene, I think Arizona just rode the train of the craft beer scene like everyone else. And that's kind of what popped and flourished. And everyone knew how to get meat and make craft beer and buy these big things, but wine is a whole nother process.
Yeah.
So then you had these restaurants just going like, we're going to create craft beer. Let's try it. Let's do it. And they all jumped on the boom versus wine is so much harder.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And,
I'm
like,
with you on that 100%. In New Jersey, I mean, I remember when I was making like home brewing beer at home before there was breweries everywhere here, and it was because you couldn't get the kind of beers that you wanted. Like literally, there wasn't breweries everywhere, and now in New Jersey, literally, like almost every town has its own brewery. There's so many, you know, there's some great ones and there's some bad ones, but it's just the equipment, the same thing. I think so many people just grabbed at it, bought the equipment, just started making it.
Exactly. They bought it and they gave it a shot. We have our ones that survived and did it, driving ones, or made it huge and got bought out.
Breweries are really good like incubators of like culture, I find. In very small towns in New Jersey, at least, like if a brewery pops up literally in an industrial park in the middle of nowhere, it'll create, you know, an instant vibe and attraction that people want to go to. Like the beer nerds, for lack of a better term, will flock to your brewery to try it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And that'll start other restaurants and food places and things right in that immediate area where there was, you know, 2 years ago, nothing happening. So no matter how good or bad your beer is, it does stimulate business and economy, which is cool. And I'm sure that, you know, that's the same in every state. Arizona, no different. What about, so there's a big beer scene in there, like most states. What about distilleries? What's the distilleries like out there? Any kind of
There's a few
prominent? There's a couple out there just doing it because that's what we do, or anything notable and delicious?
Del Bach was nominated for the James Beard Award last year. That's a great whiskey down in Tucson.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. Pippin was chatting. Which whiskey?
Del Bach.
Oh, yeah, their Dorado is my favorite. I love that mesquite smoked single malt.
Del Bach? Is that what it's called?
Del Bach.
I gotta get
Yeah,
back to that.
they've actually gotten some international awards, I believe, right, Melissa?
Yeah.
They're really cool.
I toured them a year ago, and I know that last year, it was right before the pandemic hit, right in January, they were nominated for the James Beard. That was 2019.
I have that. One of my fun facts here is Arizona as a whole got 50 plus James Beard awards since 2010. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So doing something good out there. I'm looking at it now. Del Bach, interesting.
Distillery, I would say that's really noteworthy would be Thumb Butte Distillery. I personally do enjoy their Western Sage Gin and my gin and tonics in the summer. It's a great gin and tonic gin because it's very nice, very light, very floral. Stick a drop of prickly pear syrup in it and you get your little bit of sweetness. I also do admittedly like their bourbon. And the interesting thing about their bourbon is that it is 51% Native American indigenous corn.
I love that.
So blue corn and dry corn and rainbow corn. So they're one of the few distilleries that's trying to acknowledge this indigenous history in this land.
I love. See, that's what I love. I wish I could find stuff like that out here. Like that's the kind of stuff I like to taste. Like I got for the Alaska episode that I did, I got a gin that they use all botanicals just grown in Alaska. So of course the Space Spirit, cool, but they use all like Alaskan grown stuff. So you could really taste that in the gin. Really interesting stuff. Knowing that they use that kind of corn is a really cool thing. I'm gonna try to get my hands on some of that now. Thanks for that.
But
I think
when it comes to other distilleries, I'm not a huge fan of really anybody else.
Right.
I will admit.
Yeah, I think we're dabbing into it.
Yeah, they all kind of go together, right? Usually it's the breweries that pop and then the distilleries follow, at least in the other cities. Vineyards are, your state dependent, but it seems like you guys, and we'll go back to the steer of the wine a little bit, the grapes, the climate, like I said, the conversations I've had with the wine growers out there, they say that it grows really, really well out there. So you have this unique climate that really allows for, all kinds. I read it was like over 20, 30 varietals at least you can grow out there, probably with grade ease.
Oh God, there's I think 100 different varietals being grown in Arizona right now.
Yeah, I mean
that I'm aware of.
That's crazy. I think this is something that most people would not assume, because at least out here in New Jersey, no one talks about Arizona wine by any means. No one would even guess that that's a thing. And again, all I've had was really good stuff out there. And I'm sure there's a gradient. I'm sure there's some bad vineyards, and there's probably fantastic vineyards. Do you have any recommendations, anyone, of specific vineyards that you find really highlight Arizona well, or any even specific restaurants that would we talked about restaurants that would have the wine that stand out as like great representations of local Arizona food and wine?
Sorry.
Go. No, you go.
I'll start with grapes. Janelle, why don't you comment on the vineyards? And then, of course, Melissa is much better at restaurants than either of us, and she can answer that question better than either of us can, I think.
Nice.
But as for grapes, I would say our two best white wine varietals are Viognier, and then my personal favorite, Malvasia Bianca, which I love so much that I like to call it Malvasia Bay Bianca.
Hey.
Sorry, that was horrible, I know. But
I
love that grape so much that I was actually in a joking relationship engagement on Facebook with that grape for about 3 years in a fake account. But that also has a lot of commentary about the horrible status of the Arizona dating pool.
Where's that grape? What is? Tell me a little bit about that grape. Viognier, I'm familiar with, but tell me a little bit about that grape.
So Malvasia Bianca is a very light, bright, floral, aromatic white grape that comes originally from Turkey and Greece.
Okay.
It was brought to Italy as a result of the Fourth Crusade and the sack of Constantinople in 1204. One of the ports that the Venetians took was a little port called Mone Malvasia. They brought those grapes from there to Italy, and it became Malvasia. Malvasia Bianca is one of about 20 different Malvasia varietals.
Sounds delicious.
Common. And here in Arizona, it produces this beautiful white, floral, aromatic white wine that it's like walking through a flower garden in spring. Rose, jasmine, honeysuckle, gardenia, little bit of flint, just a tiny bit of anise, and herbal character.
You're selling the sizzle. All I want to do is drink this right now. That sounds fantastic.
Great for seafood. My favorite pairing for this is green chili chicken enchiladas, or just a nice hot summer day.
Yeah.
For reds, a lot of people argue about which are the best red grapes in Arizona. I would say my personal opinion is that, by and large, Spanish and Italian reds do best. But I have a lot of hope for Todd Bostock's experimentations with a obscure Balkans grape called Vranish. As for myself, I would say Sangiovese is definitely something to look out for. Arizona GSM blends like the Chupacabra that you have there are a great thing to look out for. Arizona Graciano is baller. I would say Graciano over Tempranillo, definitely.
Interesting.
Arizona Ionico and Arizona Tanat are also well worth looking for.
I gotta find more leads on Arizona wine in New Jersey. It's hard to find out here. It's not easy. I just ship this in from like a third party somewhere. You just can't get it. What about the vineyards, Janelle? What do you think about some outstanding vineyards in Arizona? Some must visits, if you will.
You know, it's just like, which is your favorite children? And you just can't say they all have different characteristics. Excuse me. And Cody, jump in if I'm overlooking anybody. But in the Verde Valley, Page Spring Cellars, Caduceus, Arkin, DA Ranch, Chateau Tumbleweed. Who am I missing? Oh, the Southwest Wine Center has their own tasting room.
Yeah.
Their own
That sounds like a
brand
great place to visit. I mean, that sounds so crazy down there, that whole scene that they built out.
Yeah,
It really is fantastic.
Jacob Pierce. Who else is there?
I would say maybe Burning Tree would be a good place to visit too for Verde.
And then a fairly new one is Heartwood Cellars. They don't actually have a tasting room. They're part of, going back to Maynard, he's got a 4-8 Wine Works where people can start with their wines there. They don't have to spend the money expense to create their own winery. So they've got Bodega Pierce there, Heartwood Cellars, Oddity Wine Collective. It's very good. Is there anybody else there, Cody?
I'd say you covered pretty much my favorite places in the Verde.
Okay. And then we do have lots of tasting rooms throughout the state, but moving on to Sonoyta, we've got Sonoyta Vineyards is very good. Callaghan Vineyards. Rune Wines is one of my favorite outdoor tasting rooms. You can't beat it. It's just amazing. And he's totally off the grid. He built the whole thing himself. He's just an amazing winemaker. He makes wine for Autumn Sage and Deep Sky Vineyards in Sonoyta. Who else there, Cody?
In Sonoyta, definitely Todd Bostock with the Reasons.
Yeah. There's some emerging vineyards down there that are very interesting too. I haven't tried. We have a new winery called Twisted Union, which took over the old Keith Joshua winery there. I haven't tried theirs yet, but that's what to look out for. And then down in Wilcox, well, the place that I first started with was LDV Winery. It's very southeast of Wilcox, but they're very good. You've got Zarpara.
Zarpara's great.
Pillsbury is outstanding. He keeps winning awards everywhere.
You guys are spoiled with all these great vineyards.
Birds and Barrels is amazing. San Reckner, their tasting rooms in Tucson, but their vineyards in Wilcox. Gosh, who else? Golden Rule is very good. Anybody I'm missing, Cody? I'm kind of blanking. But that's the Wilcox area is the major grape growing area
for by and large, everyone's growing down in Wilcox. Well, not everybody, but Wilcox is producing about 74 to 75% of all of Arizona's grapes right now. See other great people down there. I'm really curious about Strive, and I think.
Well, we got Copper Horse too.
Copper Horse, yeah, they're both made by Mark Phillips, and Mark Phillips is a good winemaker. And I want to say Mark Phillips does wine for another winery down there, but I'm totally blanking on the name.
Well, he's the main one at Golden Rule, right?
This is true. Oh, Four Tails.
Oh, Four Tail. No, you might know more than I know.
I like Four. Well, no, I mean,
no. I mean, as far I was talking about the winemaker. No, Four Tails for sure.
Four Tails is a winery, not as the winemaker. Gary Kurtz was the winemaker for Four Tails, and he was also starting out his own label called Greater Than, which promises to be really, really fascinating.
I have a couple of his bottles I'm hanging on to. He gave me
the Mourvedre is good to go now, but his Amber Malvasia, I think, is going to last some time.
It sounds like I need to book at least a 2 or 3 week trip to go out there and hit all these vineyards.
A week per wine region. A week per wine region.
Something here.
I mean, for sure. Melissa, tell me about some of the specific restaurants that we could talk about.
So I have some wine questions.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it for sure.
So, okay, first question is, as someone that tours, are most of these tasting rooms open right now?
That's a great question.
As far as I am...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I would say that the best way to check is on their Instagram or their Facebook because it's on and off all the time. So,
and in some cases, they're only open for bottle sales and not for tastings. In other cases, they are open for tastings. So it kind of varies from winery to winery right now. For instance, I know Chateau Tumbleweed is closed for tastings, but they're open for bottle sales. So you can go to their outdoor window and buy a bottle or two of whatever you like. But you can't do a tasting there. Others, like Burning Tree or Stronghold or Page Springs or DA, they have their tasting rooms open for social distance tasting.
Okay, and then is there a place if someone wanted to try, like there's breweries or bars that they're like, hey, don't travel around and tour all these breweries, come here and get it in one place and sample all these things. Is there a place that caters to, I feel like going on an Arizona wine tasting tour and I want to taste everything that Arizona
I do,
has
that's me. That's exactly what I want to do.
There are 3 that I'm aware of.
You hit it first. Go ahead.
Genuine. And I want to say that's in Scottsdale?
No, it's Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
Central Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Arizona Wine Collective in Tucson. And then to a lesser extent, there's the Back Alley Wine Bar in Prescott, which does have an Arizona wine flight. There
So I
may
have
be
not
others.
finished genuine. Okay, so that's good to know.
There
Yeah,
may
and
well
then
be others, but I don't know.
in Old Town Scottsdale, Melissa, you probably know that there's that one street that's, well, in Old Town, we've got Carlson Creek, which I forgot to mention them before. They're very good. LDV is temporarily closed. They'll be opening up around Valentine's Day. You've got Caduceus and Passion Sellers. What is that?
And that's under their reserve label name, Salvatore Vineyards.
Salvatore, yeah, right in Old Town Scottsdale. That's a good way to try them. But I would really recommend going to Genuine Arizona Wine Bar in Phoenix, because you can your own pours. You can go, I think, from 2 to 8 ounce pours. It's self-serve with your card, so it's really cool.
Consider it done.
And then
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I should have just flown out and done this thing there. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then Arizona Wine Collective that Cody mentioned in Tucson is so supportive of Arizona wine. I believe that's over like 90% of what they carry.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. It's really a fun place.
I mean, I have to tell you, as someone who is in the food and beverage industry and loves drinking wine, it's exciting to hear about Arizona wine in such great detail. And like, not only that it's just happening there, but like that there's so much going on there, and sounds like a lot of greatness. Like it's, how long until it's the new Napa? How long until people are flocking here and spending hundreds of dollars? Or is this already happening on bottles? Like, what's a price point on an Arizona bottle? I guess is a good question.
On average, you can find an Arizona bottle for any budget.
Sure.
Ranging from the Provisioner, which is on average $10 to $12 a bottle. They have a red, a white, and a rosé on that label. The most expensive, Pippin.
Pippin, get it together.
The most expensive bottles I'm aware of are coming from either Salvatore Vineyards or Caduceus. The Salvatore line, I think, tops out at 120. The Caduceus Judith bottles, I think, top out at 130 or 140. So really, there's a bottle for every budget.
Right.
For the budget to an average budget to something for the nice folks.
Balling out
something
budgets, yeah.
For a collector.
Yeah, I would say the average price is probably around $30 to $40. Do you agree, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say on the, like, if I go to the grocery store, because they always have the local section, and I'll go and I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And I'd say the price point anytime I look at a local wine is probably the 25 marker to like 35 is like what I look at.
That seems even a little higher than I thought, but the wine is not cheap to make. It's not beer, by any means. I'm trying to think out here. Again, the New Jersey wine is generally speaking not the most fantastic. I'm sure there are some great examples, but by and large, there is no local section of here's some fantastic local New Jersey wines. But they're usually in the teens. We're talking about $20 and under. There's some more expensive bottles, but a lot of the New Jersey wines don't lean on older style varietals or single grapes. They're really blends and sweeter kind of things. So nothing I'm really looking for with dinner, but that is good to compare for sure. But what about some specific wine or even like some of your favorite restaurants? Well, this doesn't be wine focused. I mean, is there any kind of restaurants that stick out as uniquely Arizonan to you since, you've hit seemingly all the restaurants there are to be seen in Arizona?
The new one that I absolutely fell in love with and is so tall. Erica, she's the owner of Bitters in Scottsdale, and
Okay.
that was the one that I was just telling you about. That shockingly, it's actually Arizona themed.
Nice.
So the decor is, which you do not see. She's using everything local that she possibly can. No one has cactus on the menu and Cornish hen and pepitas and like all these things that Arizona has. So they're definitely foraging and using things that we have, and it's good. Like it's actually good food, good cocktails, good drinks, and it's a rooftop. So that's my new, I would say, favorite. I would say Jason that owns and really do a great job bringing in local wines. I mean, Jason knows wine and spirits. I mean, that's like his program, like everything he does. And have you met Jason, Janelle, over at? They do a really, really good job, and they have a lot of wines and spirits, and they really emphasize on local.
Where's that at again?
fan. Crujente, Crujien. They have award-winning tacos.
Nice.
I call them more bougie tacos.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you mean when you said he's got a lot of bougie tacos in New York, so I know exactly what you mean by that.
Like Wagyu and like all these things.
Yes, of course, but delicious, I'm sure, nonetheless.
Yeah, I would say like if you're, we're just talking like, hey, where are you gonna go eat? Where are you gonna grab food? One of my favorite Mexican restaurants is, I would have to go with Espo's for Mexican street Mexican. How I grew up, love it. If someone's recommending, God, trying to think what else. That's like my favorite Mexican for sure. And then I guess you could start diving into what are you looking for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you could go anywhere, I'm sure. Yeah. So let me ask you this, guys, just on the base of like the concept of the show with the food and the drink. You're going out, you know, you're all in a little bit of different regions of Arizona, but close, but not. You're going out on a, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday night, whatever. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What's the quickest thing to get? You know, what are you throwing in your mouth, and what are you having to drink with it?
Ooh. Right now, I'm hooked on mezcal.
Okay.
A local company called Mezcal Cranial.
Yep.
I'm just addicted to it. It's a cleaner version of how they describe it, the agave plant. It's above tequila. They don't even. It's not. Tequila.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm drinking a mezcal margarita, and I'm probably going for some like noshing items, tapas, things like that. Quick bite, throwing in my mouth.
Nice.
Because I eat at so many places that I'm usually trying to sit down and eat a full meal. I feel full every day.
I mean, that's how I like. That's how I like to operate. I like to go in a place.
1, 2, 3, 4 different restaurants.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. That's how I like to eat. I go in, like, especially if you're, you know, going to a new city or a new town. That's again another. And again, I thank everybody for joining the show. But what I do miss is going out and meeting people like you guys, because I love to just go to a restaurant, sit at a bar, talk to who's behind a bar. What's going on here? What do you eat? What do you drink? Where am I going next? And then they tell me where to go, and I pretty much go there. It's kind of how I roll around when I travel. So I get a little bit of that when I talk to you guys. So again, thank you for joining today. It was great. Not that we're done. Janelle, what do you think for bits and bites by you? What are you eating and drinking when you're going out?
Well, I haven't been going out much, of course, but
well, yes, true. Good point.
I would say Southern Rail is one of my favorite places. They have, you know, Southern themed food. I believe they won the best fried chicken in the country and high-end.
Nice.
Every Sunday and Monday, I believe, they have half-price Arizona wine bottles.
Nice.
So that's a good incentive to go there. They've got the most amazing salads and just fresh. I mean, Justin Beckett is just amazing chef, and he also owns Beckett's Table, and they do a lot of Arizona wine too. But yeah, I would say my go-to would be Southern Rail. It's really good.
Nice.
F&B is amazing too. I don't get there. I think they just recently reopened, but excuse me. They're very supportive of Arizona wine because they've got Pavle there, who's got his own vineyard down in Sonoita, and Charlene Badman is a award-winning chef. It's definitely a place to go. Check out when you come.
Nice. I definitely got to get out to Arizona.
I my voice, so I'll stop.
That's all right. Cody, what do you think? What are you eating and drinking out there?
Well, for me, Tuesday night is D&D night, because I am that nerd.
Maybe Wednesday then.
So normally, no, because I usually bring a bottle of wine from my cellar to D&D for D&D night.
Smart. This man runs a good campaign, clearly.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, everyone knows that sommelier is just a barred prestige class.
It's true.
But usually, what I'll do, because my friend's house where we all go to D&D is just behind Merkin.
Nice.
What I'll do is I'll either grab the prickly pear mac and cheese, or the pesto that he has there at Merkin, and bring that for myself to eat while we're all fighting dragons and goblins and dwarves and capitalists.
Nice.
Or whatever our enemy du jour is for the evening.
Yes, of course.
But usually it's just a bottle from my cellar, and my cellar is about 70% local Arizona wine, so it's just whatever I feel like doing. In summer, I would instead bring material to drink myself that gin and tonic I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Well, I mean, I could sit here all day and talk to you guys about it, but I don't want to hold you up. It's been just about an hour, so I don't want to hold you guys up all day. I want to thank you all for joining. If you guys want to plug your stuff again one more time at the end, we could go around and hit your hits. Melissa, what do you got?
Eat Drink AZ on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's all there.
Everything out there.
Everything.
Awesome. Janelle, the book?
The book. ArizonaWineGuide.com. That's on all the social media, website, Instagram, Arizona Wine Guide.
Fantastic. Cody?
We've sold about half of them, so there's only about half of the 1,000 left.
Nice.
So for me, the best place to reach me, my Instagram, well, I have 3, but the one that's most related to this is at THEAZ Wine Monk. You can also find me at azwinemonk.com or the Make America Grape Again podcast.com.
I got to listen to that. Fantastic.
And that's really probably the best ways to reach me. Those podcasts are available on Apple or just about anywhere where your podcasts are, as I like to say, cellared.
Guys, all 3 of you, I want to thank you so much for joining. This is super fun. And again, like, I hope it was enjoyable for you guys. Hey, buddy.
It was fun.
Do you have any way that people can reach you?
No, he's done. He's got nothing to say. He said everything. Just thank you, guys. I thank you immensely for chatting. Like, it's really cool every time I talk to someone from the state, talking to 3 people that are great and so knowledgeable. You make me want to go to Arizona and eat and drink all of the wine and go to all these great restaurants. So,
well, when you do, reach out and find out.
Without a doubt, when I come to these states, especially Arizona, because I got the itch now to drink Arizona wine and hit that trail, I'm contacting each of you, and we will do a dinner. It'll be fantastic. So,
sounds good to me.
guys, thank you all.
Nice to meet you.
Guys, nice to meet
Melissa.
all of you
Great
guys.
to meet you guys as well.
And if you need contact for each other, let me know. Guys, thank you again so much. I can't appreciate you guys enough. Thank you so much. Please be healthy and happy and all these things. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, guys.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Look at that, huh? We did it, guys. What a great group of people. Arizonians. They were great. Janelle and Cody worked on that book, Arizona Wine Guide. Check it out. I don't know. I'm not just hyping. You know me. I would shit on it. Arizona wine seems like the truth. I've drank a fair amount of it. This is pretty delicious. Cody knows his shit about the wine. Janelle as well. They laid it out for us. A lot of these grape varietals. A lot of grape action going on in there. I think Arizona sounds like a great place to put some of your wine bucks and see what grows maybe in a couple of years. There's some great varietals, great producers, a lot of education going on out there for wine. Super cool. Ah, shit. I meant to ask him about, like, a couple different winemaking methods. Maybe we'll talk with Cody. Next time I do a wine show, maybe we'll bring Cody in and talk about some winemaking methods. I'm sure he has some deep knowledge on that. I meant to ask him a question about in Arizona, but there's only so much time. I don't want to hold up these people all day. I could sit here for hours and talk to them. It's great. Melissa went to all these great restaurants in Arizona. Check her out on Eat Drink AZ. She's fantastic. She's obviously eating all around and knowing all about the Arizona restaurant scene, so that was great to tap into that a little bit. Arizona. You seem like a cool state. You got a lot of Indian reservations out there. You don't have any kind of water, which is strange, but you do got a Grand Canyon. I don't know, and a lot of lizards or something. Not really sure. Your Cactus Candy is touristy and terrible, but your grape growing game is strong. Your Mexican food is strong, and apparently you got a bolstering culinary scene out there. So I think that's going to be it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks for the people in the chat popping off. We'll have this on YouTube up in about 24 hours or something like that. Thank you all you Twitch people who are on here right now. What can I say? Arizona, you've been good to me. Have a good night, good day, and we'll see you next week. See ya.